Hi there, I'm Stephanie Robin from APNPI, and welcome to our second accreditation judging panel event. Today I have three judges with me for our submissions. First, we have Joanna Booth out of Houston. Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
And Joanna runs Joanna Booth Photography if you're interested in looking into any of her offerings. I believe you do some mentoring or workshops, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. We also have Tracy Dudgeon from Blue Rooster Studio in Ontario. Tracy, what are you up to lately? Are you offering any mentoring?
I do. I do one-on-ones, or I will just I'll do workshops as well.
Awesome. That's great. And Bianca Hubble, you're out of Georgia, is that right?
That's right.
And Bianca Hubble Photography. And Bianca, I know you're doing workshops and mentoring, are you not?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to move on and do our round of judging. I believe we have 12 submissions today. However, our fourth judge is not with us, and one of the submissions is a judge submission, so that one will not be judged publicly. I'll be acting as judge for that submission. And we'll move now to our submissions. All right, so our first accreditation submission this round is in the category of maternity. I'll give you a moment to look at our thumbnails. Judges, are you ready for scoring?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay. And judge seat number one, what score would you give?
Accepted with merit.
Thank you, Joanna. And judge seat number two.
Accepted with merit.
Thank you, Bianca. And judge seat number three.
Accepted with merit.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, so this accreditation will pass as accepted with merit across the board. Congratulations to this maker. That is a really big accomplishment and says a lot about your abilities and technical skill. Joanna, do you want to talk a little bit about which images you think are accepted with merit in this submission?
Yeah, I felt that image number 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 11 should be accepted with merit. They are all done with, I love the harsh lighting in number 3. I love number 5, the composition of light. Also the way that the maternity mom is posed on the blocks. And the other ones are absolutely gorgeous, as well as number 10 being one of my favorites, where you have, again, a good control of light. And I also like the way that the crop was on the pose in number 10.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Bianca, do you have anything to add?
Nothing except for the fact that number 2 is amazing. Excuse me, number 3 is amazing. It's my favorite one of them all. The harsh lighting is so incredible.
Thanks. And Tracy?
I agree with everyone else, but the one thing I would also mention is number 8. I really just love the impact and the emotion of this one. I'm really drawn to how soft it is and just that moment with the toddler. I absolutely love that one.
I thought so too. I agree with you there. I do want to pull up number 3. So let's have a look at that one. So just we can see that one a little bit bigger. I think this is something that we've not seen. This is a technique we've not seen used a lot, but is really, really impactful. And I think would do really, really well because it is so different. That it would do well probably in image competition. So I love the silhouette behind as well as a little reflection of the pose and the use of the leading lines, right? So it's leading directly into the face and the belly is, there are no obstructions of shadows over the belly. So I think this was really, really well done. In an image competition, perhaps a little bit of a change in cropping might help. This little piece right down in the bottom right corner might be a little distracting. And then the harsh dark line over the thighs. I'm not sure what could be done about that because it's just the placement of that frame. But yeah, I think this is a really beautiful and unique piece. So really nice. Well done to this maker. And let's pull up this number 8 as well, just for a quick look, because that was one I think that Tracy, you had mentioned.
Yeah.
Sometimes you won't do well with subjects facing away from the camera, but in this
Mhm.
instance, I think this was just beautifully done. You can see, you know, how much of a connection mom has with this first baby as well, but they've done a really nice job of highlighting, especially with the lighting, the fact that she is expecting again, right? So there's a lot wrapped up in this image of, you know, I remember thinking when I had my second that perhaps I was ruining my first experience because it wouldn't just be her anymore. There is a little bit of that anxiety as a new mom to a second baby, bringing another baby into the family. And so you have a lot of that kind of wrapped up emotion in this image as well. Like there are a lot of things going on here. So I think this was really, really beautifully done as well. Just as a reminder for our viewing audience, when a submission is accepted with merit, that indicates that it would do well in image competition. So if there are one or more images in the submission that the judges feel would place well in an image competition, this is when we accept submissions with merit. Sometimes you'll see submissions accepted with merit from a singular judge, sometimes a few of the judges, this time across the board. That is quite rare. And so it indicates to this maker, you really should maybe consider entering to image competition if you have not already, because you do have really strong work and it, you know, may be really well received over there. So we'd encourage you to enter into image competition and wish you luck with that process as well. All right, and our next image is in the category of newborn posed. And I'll give our judges a moment here. All right, and we'll start with judge seat number 2 this time. So going to you, Bianca.
Accepted.
Thank you. And Tracy
Accepted.
and Joanna.
Accepted.
All right, so this submission will be accepted. Tracy, let's go to you for some commentary on what you think this maker was doing well.
I really love how this maker is very good at her wrapping, or him. I don't know if it's a girl or guy, but it is fantastic in their control over how they wrap, which can be really difficult. And I really like how they have done the color tones with the fabrics are beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Anything that you think that they could do to elevate their work?
I would, one thing I think that they could work on is just consistency in some of the skin tone, where you could just maybe look at some of those highlights can start to get blown out really quick. And then just to fall off onto the shadows. So just looking at that, but overall, really nice.
Yeah. So I think you can probably see it in a few images, but fall off to the shadows. Are you meaning like maybe in image number 1 here?
Yes. So you can see how it kind of has a drop off, not a continuous gradient throughout with the shadows. It kind of just goes from a little too hot to a little too dark on that right side there.
Mm-hmm. That area. Yeah. All right. Does anybody have anything else to add regarding this submission?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I did want to mention in image competition, certain details I think we can be a little bit pickier about. So as you're moving from accreditation to image competition, you might want to be careful about things like your cloning in your background. So oftentimes when we're looking at these images of siblings on the floor on Flickr, this is one of the most telling images or setups where you can really evaluate a maker's abilities in terms of their use of content aware or cloning. Because the Flickr is very unforgiving and you can pick up patterns quite easily. Anybody have any commentary on this image in particular?
No, I mean, other than just, when you have a Flickr and you're watching the lights, how it hits from the left to the right. If you're interested in getting it into an image competition, you can balance those highlights a little bit more, either using your curves, or if you see it in camera, you can adjust your lighting so that it can provide a little more evenly lit light across the Flickr. If you have it and you are in post-production in Photoshop, you can use your curves, you can use your brightness contrast sliders. You can also go into selective colors and play along with those lights to dim those colors down a little bit. So that way you can have a better balance from the brightness of the light on the right to the left.
I think too, for this maker, the right side of the frame is a little bit brighter, so you can pick up on the cloning issues here as well. So you can see where things start to line up and match in terms of where cloning has been done in this backdrop. So the lines in the Flickr are quite telling in terms of where things have been duplicated. And now when you look at this from further away, if we back off of this image, you'll start to see all of these darker points sticking out a bit more. So if you look at it now, you can sort of see where those cloning areas, where that's gone wrong. And part of that can be due to that contrast that you were just talking about. So, but well done for this maker. I think that, the commentary is spot on here. Great control of accessories and tonal control as well. I like that they like to stick in the same colors. So in particular, if you look, like, pretty much you can pick any of these images and look at them, but you can see how they've brought those same colors in the accessories. And things are pretty monochromatic in terms of the backdrops and the wraps and the accessories. Really well done, with a little bit of the green hinted in here, but still within that same tonality. So good control there for this maker. All right, very nice commentary, and congratulations to the maker on their successful accreditation. All right, our next submission is in the category of baby and family. I'll give our judges a moment. All right, are you ready to submit?
Yes.
Scores.
Yes.
Good. All right, this time we'll start seat number 3. So Tracy, your score, please.
Accepted.
Thank you. And Joanna?
Accepted.
And Bianca?
Accepted.
Excellent. So that's 3 scores of accepted. Overall, this submission will be accepted. Let's head to Joanna, please, for commentary for this maker.
Yeah, I believe this maker did a really great job. One, lighting their subjects, and great job with skin editing. There were a couple of posing suggestions that I would have, or recommendations for this maker. Image number 4, 10, and 12. All 3 of those are beautifully done. Great lighting, great expressions by the family. But those 3 to me stick out the most to having areas for improvement where you can adjust your posing and adjust your crop or your hand positioning. So for instance, in number 4, turning that daughter around towards the baby a little bit, bringing dad in a little bit closer so we don't have a gap and more connection, bringing your crop down so that the hand isn't cutting up the fingers. I think if you make that improvement to an image, if you do it again, something similar, it definitely could go into competition. For number 10, a similar kind of recommendation, definitely look at, posing the older sister, maybe wrapping around the baby or turning her on her side, cropping a little bit lower so we're not so close to the fingers, and also adjusting little things like the hair and the ponytail there, patting even Big Brother's hair down a little bit. But they have wonderful expressions. It's in focus. It looks beautiful. I think that you definitely have a great job overall. Your contact sheet, so it shows so many happy smiles. I mean, number 8 is just gorgeous with that baby smiling. Just a beautiful, beautiful image. For competition for this one, just ask dad to take his watch off. That's the only thing I would say would be a recommendation to get this to competition level. But overall, amazing job, beautiful. Congratulations on getting through your accreditation.
Definitely congratulations to this maker. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to add?
I think everything that was said was spot on.
Excellent.
Yes, agree.
Yeah, great job. Great control here. I think the commentary was spot on. Great use of lighting. You can see a real good mastery of the subject here. I did want to speak a little bit about number 4 because we always do this in terms of safety. So I know some of you might be wondering about positioning of baby, and we did review this quite close in. It is not a composite. However, you can see if you're zoomed a little bit closer in, you can see the outline of mom's arm behind babe here, as well as that's where the shirt kind of comes in, the sleeve of the shirt, indicating that baby is slightly turned inward and tucked into the axillary area of mom, axilla, armpit area. So the babe is slightly positioned backwards, as you can tell by their upturned nostrils here. So not standing upright on themselves. Had they been fully upright, we would be worried about positional asphyxiation in that positioning. However, it looks as though baby is actually angled back. So they are leaning backwards into mom, and with siblings so close, I think baby was safe in this position. Again, having that older sister turned inward to face babe, as Joanna was mentioning, so looking into the image might have offered a little bit of additional, bumpering or support if babe did startle or lean to their right. However, having them swaddled like this does dampen the startle reflex, so less chance of that happening. All right, congratulations to this maker. They have achieved accreditation in the category of baby and family. All right, so our next submission is another submission in the baby and family category. And for this submission, we are only looking at image number 1. All of the other images have already passed accreditation. So this is your view just for the consistency aspect of all 12. However, today our judges will only be judging on the first image seen here. Are you ready to submit scores?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right, we'll head back to seat number 1. So Joanna, your score, please.
Accepted.
Thank you. And Bianca
Accepted.
and Tracy.
Accepted.
Thank you. And Bianca, do you have any commentary for this maker?
I love the posing. I think it's really beautiful. I would definitely look into the highlights. It's a little bit blown on her shirt down at the bottom, so just be careful with that. But overall, I love the connection that they have together. They really do look like a happy family the way you pose them. So congratulations.
Thank you. All right. And I just want to say as well, in terms of going back and looking at a full gallery, I do think that you can see the growth that this maker is making as they're moving along through their journey here. The background seems a little bit more consistent in terms of color, a little bit cleaner, a little less of those peaches infused into the backdrop color. Skin tone seems like it's been handled well. I think you can see the growth that this maker is making here. They are making definitely a stylistic choice to stay on the lighter end of the imagery. For myself, I do like a little bit of a darker, deeper shadows. However, you know, I think they've handled this image really, really well. And congratulations on your accreditation in the category of baby and family.
Yeah.
All right, our next submission is in the category of newborn pose. This is a resubmission as well. So everything from image 3 through 12 has passed, and we are looking only at images number 1 and 2. So I'll go in and I'll give you guys a little bit of a closer look at those. Okay, are our judges ready?
Yes.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll start with, now I've lost my order. We'll start with seat number 2 this time. So, nope, seat number 3. Tracy.
Accepted.
Okay, and let's head to Joanna
Accepted.
and Bianca.
Accepted.
Excellent. So this maker will have passed their newborn posed accreditation submission. Let's go to Bianca, please, for commentary.
Yes, I have to say number 1 is probably my absolute favorite. It is beautiful. The posing is so beautiful and perfect. The lashes, oh my goodness, to die for. You did great with the whites. I love it. Always thinking about whites, just always watch for highlights and everything. But I think you did a great job on this, and I'm excited about this picture. I would actually hang this up on my wall.
Excellent, thank you. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
Nope.
Good. I just wanted to point out, again, I really love when makers come back for these resubmissions because I feel like you can really see the growth that they're taking. So when you look at their full submission and now looking at their more recent work, numbers 1 and 2 here, I think that there is, you know, a marked increase in their learning and in the consistency that we're seeing here. So better control over lighting for sure, and the backgrounds, you know, handling the skin, any type of hotness or harshness of the light, like you've learned a lot through the process, I think, and especially if you look here at image number 3, there is a drastic difference now with how lighting is handled. And even in terms of, you know, posing, I think you were always a little bit stronger on the stronger side with the posing. You can see, you know, good management of posing throughout these older images. However, you know, just really, really well done in that first image here. So congratulations to this maker. Thank you for returning. It's always such a pleasure to see the growth and to experience it alongside yourself and be able to acknowledge it. We can see that you are working hard and improving upon your work. And it's really exciting for us to see as judges and accreditation chair. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming back, and congratulations again. Our next submission is in the category of sitter. I'll give our judges a moment. right, we'll head back to seat number 1, Joanna
Accepted.
and Bianca
Accepted.
and Tracy.
Not accepted.
Okay. Okay, so currently we have 2 scores of accepted and 1 not accepted, and the submission would go forward as accepted.
I'm going to challenge that.
Okay, so Tracy, that's you, yes?
Yes.
Okay, are there more than 5 images that you would like to see?
No.
Okay,
So,
can you let me know which images?
yeah, we're going to say 2, 4, 6, and the last one, 12.
Okay. So for these images, we will go one by one and score the images. So 2, 4, 6, and 12. So currently we have 2 accepted and 1 challenge. So what we'll do now is we'll speak in the benefit of the maker, after which we'll hear from you, Tracy,
Sure.
on your suggestions for improvement. And then we will go back to our first speaker for rebuttal, after which we will rescore. Let's hear from Bianca, please, first in the benefit of the maker.
I like the composition of the pose. I love the accessories or backdrop and everything like that, and the sharpness. It looks cute. I've liked the way you executed the goal for the image and everything. It's beautiful.
Great, thank you. And we'll go to Tracy, please, for critique.
I do also love how the soft tones of this image are wonderful. Where I feel like it could have really benefited is the lighting feels flat. I don't really see much highlight and shadow. It's just kind of a little more gray in the skin tone. And I feel like the eyes are really dark. If we could have lightened those eyes up, it might have made the subject pop a little more. I love that he doesn't have a very happy expression. I love kids when they have more of like this little pouty look to them. And the composition wise, the hands being chopped off, those little fingers is my only recommendation to get that full frame of the hands in there.
Okay, thank you. And we'll head back to Bianca, please.
When I'm seeing it as full with the fingers and everything. The baby's actually has his fingers like kind of wrapped around the bowl bucket.
Okay.
So I don't see, I could see the gray, but I do see some shadows in his face on the left-hand side. I'm seeing the light coming from the right. So I still see the lighting as being good. I do think the coloring may be adjusted a little bit as far as the grayness, but I still image a lot.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone need a moment right now to think about their score for rescoring?
Nope.
No.
Okay, and Joanna, will go to you first, your score,
Accepted.
and to Bianca, please,
Accepted.
and Tracy.
Accepted.
All right, and this image will be accepted. We'll head to image number 4. This time, Bianca, did I call on you last time to speak in the benefit of the maker, or Joanna?
Yes, you called on me.
Okay, let's go to Joanna in the benefit of the maker. Currently, we are 2 accepted and 1 not accepted.
Yeah, I think the maker did a great job capturing this baby, which looks like has I guess, Down syndrome or maybe some sort of health complication. But I really think that the angelic nature of this photo was really cute with the tongue being out. The eyes are in focus. I love the color tones of it. So I thought this was just an adorable little photo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and to Tracy, please.
I love the expression and I love the pose of this little baby. Reason I called up on this one is just the lighting coming kind of from back and behind. We just lose a lot of detail in the face on the right-hand side. And we miss that highlight. There's a tiny little highlight I can kind of see there in the right eye, but we've kind of lost the highlight completely. Just drawing my focus away from her and just focusing more on that dark shadowy side. And just kind of the shadows in the background are just find them slightly distracting.
Thank you. And we'll head back to Joanna.
Yeah, I didn't really notice that the first time, but now looking at it again, I definitely see in that from what we're looking at, that right eye, where it's just barely a little bit of a glimmer of a light coming through. It is heavily to the left. I think for the standard of going through to getting it accepted for accreditation level, I think overall it still looks to me pretty decent. Yes, I think they can work on definitely balancing their light a little bit better, but I think that it's not completely dark. I think the blacks in the eyes are blown.
All right, thank you. Does anyone need a moment to reconsider for judging, or are we ready to move forward?
Ready.
Ready.
Excellent. Okay. And let's go to Joanna, please.
Accepted.
And Bianca.
Accepted.
And Tracy.
Accepted.
Okay, great. This image will be accepted. I did want to mention for certain kiddos that may have markers of any type of, genetic conditions, occasionally there are, and even some that don't have any markers, occasionally there is a lazy eye scenario where you do have one eye that turns in slightly more towards midline. And so when the iris and of the eye is coming inward like this, it can be more difficult to light with catch lights. So I can see what Tracy is saying, where there is a pin light catch light happening in baby's left eye here. And an easy solution would be, based on the catch lights in the eye, it's really hard to tell, but it could be a window light here. So just, rotating baby slightly towards window would have, created a little bit more light in baby's left eye, right side, right on the camera here. So that you'd have a little bit more of an even catch light. Sometimes I have used a strategy to clone a catch light and put it in on the opposite eye as well. Be careful with that in terms of making it look realistic and sizing it correctly, and consider your gradient of light drop off as well if you're going to use a clone situation to improve on catch lights in the eyes, but certainly that's one way in which you might be able to adjust in post production, to ensure you don't have that pin light happening in that eye. Okay. All right, thanks for that commentary, ladies. Our next image is image number 6, I believe. And so this time we will go to Bianca, please, and the benefit of the maker. Again, this image has 2 markers of accepted and 1 not accepted. So to Bianca, in the benefit of the maker, please.
I like the colors. I am not a big, huge color person, but I think that the orange is really pretty. I think that he's in great focus there. And being able to see all his body parts minus his one leg, but seeing him on his knee, I think it's kind of cute. It's kind of saying that he's about to go somewhere.
Thank you. And we'll head to Tracy, please. So it could just be just us viewing it here on the screen, but I do feel the highlights, the arm in the front there on the left-hand side and the cheek is a little blown out, and with the color choice of the background and the outfit, it kind of washes the subject out and doesn't really have that pop. And then the little blankie, I guess, just find it very distracting under the leg there. I do like the little kneel down, but with that blanket there, I'm actually just drawn to his feet and the blanket and not his face.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you. And we'll head back to Bianca, please.
Okay, I do see what you're saying about the wrap down on the ground. It is a little distracting. And I do agree that the outfit, maybe having a brown outfit would make it pop a little bit more, since the outfit's not exactly a nice coordinating color with the orange. But overall, I still feel this picture would pass for accreditation.
All right, thank you. Is everyone ready to rescore at this time?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Good. We'll go to Bianca first, please.
Accepted.
And Tracy
Accepted.
and Joanna.
Accepted.
Okay, this image will be accepted. Moving to our last image, I believe, image number 12. Two accepted, one not accepted. We will go to Joanna, please, in the benefit of the maker.
It's an adorable photo. I love the colors. The backdrop looks adorable. Expression is great. And I just thought this was a cute little image.
Thank you. And we'll head to Tracy.
I love her expression. The reason I called on this one is the lighting again is kind of coming from a little more behind her on the side, and we've lost the catch light again in that far eye. But then just the shadowing of below her nose on her face in comparison to the highlights that are by her ear are very, the contrast there is not really pleasing when I'm looking at it. I want to be drawn more to her face, but I'm drawn down to her chin. And just the cropping, if we had kind of pulled out a little more, that little cut off leg and how close that back toe is, would have liked to have seen more of a full image or full body image on her on this one. Yeah, that's it on that one.
Thank
Overall
you.
expression, yeah, but her expression is beautiful. Her little like happy as you know it, clap your hands right there.
We'll head back to Joanna, please, for rebuttal.
I would definitely agree. I think all of the for the maker who is watching this later, all of the points that Tracy has made are very valid points. Definitely take the critique from viewing these to really work on moving your light maybe to 45 degrees to get more of that light to the other side of the face. I think that also working on crop, this photo and the last one, the tan one, just work on getting your crop better in order. But I think for accreditation, I think it's sufficient, and it has a great expression. I feel like the skin toning is really well done, and just work on bringing your light around a little bit. And I think that should improve it and also get you ready for some judging competition. So.
Fantastic. Great suggestions. Is everyone ready to rescore at this time?
Yep.
Yes.
Good. And we'll go to Tracy first, please.
All market is accepted.
And Joanna.
Accepted.
And Bianca.
Accepted.
Fantastic. Congratulations to this maker. This sitter submission will be accepted. So I think you've gained some excellent commentary from our judges. I did want to point out image number 9 here. Does anybody have any commentary in the benefit of the maker on this image? Because I feel this image is quite a strong image in this submission. Do you know if the judges have any feedback?
I think this is absolutely beautiful. The posing's beautiful. They're connected. I mean, they're beautiful people, period. But you did a great job capturing them, and you can see personality, even a little bit.
Yeah, the lighting is fantastic.
And the colors in the background with the sunflower, it's beautiful. Yeah, they have really nice glow on their heads from the light. It's just really pretty. I really like it a lot.
I do feel a really strong image, really well executed. And sunflowers can be really difficult
Yes.
because they do want to face the sun. So great time of day here as well for a choice for and location, the way that they've made sure that there's background behind and very little sky blown out. So I think this is quite a strong image and stands out amongst this gallery as well. So this is a gallery where, you know, there is quite a bit of variety. You could say maybe less consistency in terms of style, but I think that there are some overall, you know, kind of markers that pull it together as a gallery as well. So a varied portfolio from this maker, but congratulations. I think well done, and to come out with 4 images challenged and still accepting or still receiving the accreditation is quite a feat. So well done for this maker, and some great suggestions for improvement here as well from our judges. Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to maker number 1. This is a resubmission in the category of newborn pose. Today we'll be looking at images number 1, 4, 6, 8, and 12 only. All other images have previously passed accreditation. I'll give our judges a moment. All right, and with 3 scores of accepted, Bianca, you have accepted, Tracy has accepted, and Joanna, you have also accepted. This submission will go through as accepted in the category of newborn pose. Congratulations to this maker. Let's head to Tracy, please, for some commentary.
Yeah, you can see that there's some great consistency with this maker. I'm especially drawn to the sibling image. It's stunning, that background, got that little bit of a texture in it, but just the way he's looking down at his baby sister it's just a beautiful connection, a beautiful moment, but the lighting is on key. It's perfect. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, having seen the previously accepted or previous images submitted in this submission as well. I believe I remember being chair for the previous rounds, and I just wanted to extend a little note of congratulations on the maker's growth. There has been some significant growth in terms of taking in the commentary and coming back with some very strong images. Lighting, beautiful. We've cut out any uplighting, and I especially wanted to highlight the sibling image because just so well handled here. So, you know, this maker's done a really great job with this image of coordinating props and just handling. You can see how much care has gone in with this older sibling and their ability to safely handle this baby. I just think the styling is beautiful. And sometimes we complain about gradient of light, across an image, but I think this one was done quite purposefully in order to draw that eye into the subject because the light is coming from that left side of the frame. So really beautiful choice there, and just really well handled. So congratulations to this maker. And we'll move on to our next submission. So maker number 2, this will be a new submission in the category of newborn posed. Give our judges a moment. And with scores of accepted across the board, the submission will be accepted for accreditation in the category of newborn pose. Congratulations to this maker. Some strong images here for sure. Joanna, would you like to give some commentary to this maker, suggestions for improvement, perhaps for image competition, or pointing out your favorite images?
Sure. Congratulations to this maker. Definitely have a strong understanding of a light. I would say with the majority of your images. One minor critique is the one with the twins. Twins are very hard to do, and the lighting on this one image is the only thing that stands out different from everything else that you have done. So I'm not sure if this was maybe a first time getting twins or maybe the only time. I don't do twins a whole lot either. But the lighting in all of your other images is so well executed. And if even looking at this whole gallery, you can see that this is the only one that kind of shows a little bit more of a flat light. And maybe we were juggling two babies, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into trying to get these babies posed correctly. And I think you did a wonderful job with the wraps in that twin session. If you look at the image with the baby in all white, definitely is a good example of how you have good control over light. You could probably bring a little bit more shadow into this one, but this one, the skin tones show a little bit different than the ones with the twins. So that tells me that you understand lighting in dark situations as well as light and airy situations. Little critique on this one: don't try to take too much of the red out of the baby's feet or the hands. If it's glaringly red, yes, try to reduce them down a little bit. But this one little foot, if you take it out too much, it can get gray. But overall, when I look at these images, it definitely shows me that you have a strong command of understanding wrapping. You have a really great understanding of how to get those hands under. Keep working with pushing fingers back. Your styling looks really great from image number 1 to number 2. So just great job overall.
I would definitely agree with all of the commentary for sure. I think especially in color harmony, there's been some really good elements of styling here with complementary colors as well. And one other critique that I think I would give to this maker, image number 5 here, newborn with parents. In this particular setup, you have someone dressed in a very light shirt. And sometimes, if you don't have wardrobe available in studio for parents, or if they choose not to use it and would like to stay in their own dress shirt and do show up in a white shirt, if you're going to pair that with colors that are more middle or deeper toned, I would recommend moving that subject away from the light source. So posing them furthest away from the light source, so that you can cut down on, some of the highlights that you're going to see on that material, because it's so much lighter and will reflect the light so much more than those middle tones or deeper tones. So that is one suggestion here. Also, I'm not sure what type of light source was used, but perhaps, raising the light source higher if it is a light, so that you're getting less in that lower area. Or if the floor is reflecting the light, that's something you can think about as well. So flagging off your floor, putting a dark color on the floor rather than a light color on the floor will help reduce the bounce from the floor. If this was natural light, so perhaps using a large set of patio doors, you could use a piece of cardboard at the bottom and cut off the light that's coming in from the lower side of the image. So those are just, image competition type critiques, but I would agree with Joanna. Wonderful effort here, and congratulations to this maker. Moving on to maker number 3. And this is a submission in the category of maternity. All right, and here we have 2 scores of accepted and 1 score of not accepted.
So I would like to challenge.
Okay, no problem. So we do have 2 scores of accepted, 1 not accepted. Joanna, which image or images would you like to challenge?
Two images I would like to challenge, the maternity in black, and then the one with the pampas grass in green.
Sorry, so image number 11, we have a few in black. Which would you like?
Oh, sorry, right. The redheaded, I think it's an image number 8.
Okay, image number 8 and image number 11. All right, so we'll head into image number 8. Currently, we have 2 scores of accepted, 1 not accepted. And so let's hear in the benefit of the maker from Tracy, please.
So I do really enjoy this image as just like a whole piece. That I do like the dress, the dark tones of the background and the dress being in that same harmony. Gorgeous hair, by the way. I don't know if she had her hair done, but oof, the makeup you can see is quite beautiful. And the skin is really done well. Like you can see the skin tones on this against a black dress like that on a redhead can be a little challenging. And this maker has done a really nice job balancing that skin with this image.
All right, thank you. And we'll head to Joanna, please, for critique.
Yeah, so I would agree with Tracy that the skin tones are beautifully done. The edit is beautiful on the body. I think this maker was either really on a tall ladder, or I'm not sure if this person is a little person or if she's kneeling. So the biggest things that are distracting for me with this image are, one, we're looking at the crown of her head, like literally the whole part of her head. That's a little distracting for me. Another thing is the line in the paper in the back, or the way that the paper was edited in the back. So typically when you see like this little lighter part, it shows where the crease of the floor of the seamless paper is meeting the floor, and then it's rolled down for the person to stand on. So when you look at this lighter part of the backdrop, typically that's where you see people's feet. So at this point, I'm like, is she kneeling, or is she very small, or is this taken at such a high level that that seam is putting it at where it's almost her buttocks? So to me, it's throwing my eye off completely about where this person is actually standing. Are they sitting? I'm not really sure, but it is almost one of the biggest distracting things of this image. Additionally, not to really get too much into the way people edit, but the bottom of the skirt, the way that it's flowing forward, it looks like maybe it was dragged to provide more of a flowy pattern and liquefy. So there was just a lot of things that really took away from this image. I feel like, not to just be like, say, not challenge and give you not positive things about this, but the way that you can fix that, or to trick the eye, if say you are taller, all you have to do in Photoshop is you would clear out this white line, and then we would have no reference point as to if this person was really short or if she was tall. She would look like she's just standing. And then the part where her head is there, I would have her head just lifted a little bit, so we don't feel like you are shooting like completely from the top of her head. So to me, this was kind of like so close, but I feel like this one just doesn't meet what I would think of as a accredited level. So that's my opinion on that.
Okay, thank you. And we'll head back to Tracy, please, for
Yeah, I am looking at this after reviewing everything you said, and I do agree that there are some points where this image could have been executed a little more in post-processing with that skirt and even that line in the background. Yeah, that's all I can see now looking back on it. And I do agree that that angle is just a little too high, and we are not quite seeing that how long she might be, if she is short, if she is sitting. Yeah, I think you're right on that. But again, I love that skin tone. It looks so nice, and I think that part was executed beautifully. So maybe comparing that in the end, maybe if the maker could focus a little more on the backdrop next time and match what she's done to the skin and the body, that's going to really enhance that image.
Perfect. All right, so we will challenge this image. So if you can all rescore at this time. Were you all able to enter your new scores?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. And can you just hit save one more time? Sorry. All right, and with new scores of not accepted across the board, this image will not be accepted. However, I think there's been some excellent critique given to this maker regarding the image and handling of this image. Okay, next we'll look at image number 11. So if you don't mind entering your original scores, please. I believe we had 2 accepted, 1 not accepted. And I will refresh in a moment. Okay, and we will go in the benefit of the maker first, please, to Bianca.
I love the skin tones on this mama here. I think it's beautiful. I think you did a very great job of depicting her skin and the pretty consistency from head down to the knees. I do love the gown, and I think this is a beautiful image.
All right, thank you. And we'll head to Joanna.
I agree. So I definitely want this maker to watch this, as I've been in image competitions before, and you watch things, you're like, oh, I almost had it. I almost had it. So I don't want this maker to watch this or hear the critiques and to be completely discouraged. So that's my first like level of comfort, I guess, if I can provide any, about wanting to challenge this image. I do feel like the skin tones are beautiful. I think that you have a great grasp of lighting and as well as color toning, and color matching, and your color theory is really great. The crop, to me, when I see this up close, when I see it in the gallery with other ones, it is probably the biggest thing that in an image competition or image accreditation, crop is almost a killer as much as getting a pose correctly or lighting correctly. So the crop for me is off in several areas. So we have it where it's trying to capture the pampas grass at the top. It's cropping off those little leaves at the top. Then we have it to the left where you're not cropping off a joint, but the way that you kind of just ended that photo kind of abruptly off the side, that's a little distracting for me. And then also that you're not capturing the full other side of mom's shoulder and maybe even the edge of the chair. I think if there was a balance of you left more to the right and then you cropped the legs off, maybe that would have worked. Or if the legs were showing, maybe, but I think it's just such a super tight image. My face really is not even drawn. I mean, it's drawn to her because you did an excellent job with her skin tone and she's a beautiful gal. But when you look at it as a whole, thinking even of rules of thirds and thinking of different composition techniques, you're really not drawn to the belly. You're almost drawn to the white part of the pampas face. You're drawn to the top part of that chair. You are forced to look for her because she's so beautiful, but your eye naturally doesn't want to go there. So I think that if you just have a pullback of the same exact image and resubmit it as a full photo, so we see the drape where it's from her buttocks down to the floor, we see the rest of her shoulder, we see the rest of her hair off of her back, just open it up a little bit more if you already have this image. And honestly, this could be depending on what the rest of it looks like, you could really kind of even think about putting something for image competition. But I think that there's just so many issues with crop for this one in 3 different areas that really just are so distracting that it's like I just want it to see it better and not be drawn towards how tight she's fit. She feels like, to me, she's in a vase, or in like a bottle almost. It's just super tight for me. So, but really, I do believe that you have a lot of great skills going for you. And this is just one that I just can't get over.
Okay, and we'll go back to Bianca, please, for rebuttal.
Yes, I do see what you're talking about, Joanna, as far as the cropping and everything. And I think with the issues of the leg, I think it may even be able to be rectified if that right leg was showing, like the knees of the right leg, instead of it being disappeared underneath the dress. I think that may help kind of bring it all together as far as making it look like you were thinking. But I do understand that. I still love the skin tones. I love the setup. I do think the cropping does need to be, now that you've addressed it, it's definitely sticking out to me now. So I do think that needs to be addressed. And while looking at the crops, I was looking at the background and thinking that I think it would be more appealing to the eye and it would draw more attention to her if she was separated from the backdrop a little bit more. So that the backdrop kind of be a backdrop instead of being kind of on the same level as where she's at. But again, I still love the skin tones. You've done an amazing job with the skin tones from head to toe or from head to knees. So kudos on that one, because I know skin tones on moms a lot of times are difficult because part of our body sees the sun a lot and most of it does not.
All right, thank you. At this time, we will rescore the images. So please, if you can refresh your screens and enter new scores. All right, and with 3 scores of not accepted, this image will not be accepted. However, congratulations to this maker on 10 accepted images in this round. That is a very strong submission. So only 2 images to resubmit. We do hope that you will consider resubmitting in our next round of accreditation. Very strong submission to begin with. And I think you've got a lot of good critiques to move forward, and luckily both images are images of your choosing, so no criteria to meet. You can submit any 2 maternity images to replace your 2 images that have not passed, but 10 images accepted in this round, so congratulations on that. Okay, we're moving to maker number 9 now, and we will view this gallery. Okay, I'll give our judges a moment for overall scores. And we have scores of accepted, not accepted, and accepted.
I'd like to challenge.
Okay, no problem. So Tracy, if you could please point out the images that you would like to challenge in this submission.
My first challenge is actually number 6 and number 12 are so similar. I feel like this maker has just given us the exact same image. So we've got a lack of variety just in those 2. I just feel it's the same image, just different kid. So I don't know if we have to view them, but I'm just looking at it as a thumbnail.
I see. Yeah, we do ask for different scenarios. So,
I would also like to challenge number 7, baby with parent.
Okay.
Are
Well,
we
we're
recording or not recording?
currently recording, yes.
Okay.
I think we'll move to image number 7 first, and then we can have a discussion about the other component. Okay, so image number 7. Let's not enter any scores. We know that we have 2 accepted, 1 not accepted. So first I will go to Joanna, please, in the benefit of the maker.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at this photo, as I look at on the back end, it is very clean. This maker definitely has a good grasp of lighting and a good grasp of getting things very well in focus. I can tell that the light is a little bit above them and kind of shining down. And this is a personal style for this maker to have a very bright and light and airy kind of vibe with this. I like that the parents are smiling, all the limbs aren't cropped off. The little baby's hand is a little bit down there, could have been pulled up, but it's a cute little family photo, and it's clean, and the skin tones look really well. I like that they didn't take the yellows out of Asian skin tones, which sometimes can be tricky to do on a white. But yeah, overall, I like this image.
Thank you. And we'll head to Tracy, please.
Yeah, I love what you said about the skin tone. I do think that is perfect with a white background, especially when it's a very bright white. What I found a little distracting in this here was the arms of mom just being a little cut out and kind of jetting forward almost on baby's leg, maybe holding it down perhaps. But that to me just felt like a disconnect and pushing her kind of awkwardly in front, as well as dad's hand just being, or sorry, baby's hand being cut off at that corner there. Just that, overall, I think it's a beautiful image. Mom, dad, baby, all looking at the camera. Those are beautiful smiles, but those tiny little items that could have just been tweaked just enough to give this more of a connection towards the bottom of the image. It just feels tightly cropped because the hands are not in the right placement.
All right, thank you. And we'll go back for rebuttal, please.
I definitely see that. I mean, the baby's hand is the one that's the most distracting, probably for me. The crop, it looks like they're sitting is what I can tell, because I can kind of see how the mom's arm is kind of bending kind of forward. I think if the mom had a short sleeve shirt, it would be more distracting for me. But I think because her shirt is long sleeve, you kind of know where the crux of her arms are, but it wouldn't stand out to me as if she had short sleeve. Then you would really kind of see that forearm coming forward. So for me, it all kind of blends in, other than that little snippet of the baby's hand just kind of being over there for the crop. I mean, I love that the crop is centered. I love that they gave it as much room as possible. So I definitely see what you're saying, but I think it could have been a lot more distracting if she had skin showing. And then I think I would have been like, oh my gosh, but I think the shirt covers it, and it kind of blends it in to everything pretty well.
I would agree with you there. If it was a short sleeved, it would be a lot more distracting. So yes, I would totally agree that because it's a full white shirt, we do get the illusion, and our brain knows where the hand is going. So I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So at this time, please enter your scores. And we have 3 scores of accepted. So this image overall will be accepted. Okay, so we'll return to the gallery. I think the only other discussion we'll need to have is between the 2 images, image number 6 and 12. So I see what Tracy is saying in terms of the elements of the image, the seamless backdrop and the chair. I think the differences that we can see between the two would be in the banners used. and the one t-shirt rather than the number one on the floor. So let's have a discussion just as you know, a board of judges, whether or not you feel that there is enough variety presented throughout this gallery to denote that the maker has an above average level of skill working with milestone clients. Bianca, I'll go to you first for your thoughts.
As far as variety, looking at the whole gallery, I feel like a lot of it's very consistent. A lot, I guess, the same. As far as the backdrop, we have the same wood backdrop, maybe turned different ways each time. So it kind of doesn't show a variety of like dark backdrop versus light backdrop and that kind of thing. And then the one, I know we do have like 4 of them up there that are lighter. But with the 1-year-old session, I would agree those are probably too similar to separate. We have a boy and then we have a girl, and that's why the banners are different. But I think that's the only things that are really. So as far as that goes, I would say variety is lacking overall in the gallery. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of the suggestions that I would make to this maker is in replacing one of the 2 images, if you are looking at doing birthday setups per se. So one thing that you could do, I noticed throughout the gallery that we don't have any milestone images with a babe in their tummy time position. So one of the classic images that we often see is babe lying on tummy pushing up. From the hands, so you know, or babe in crawl position, so putting them on all 4s and taking an image that way. So that could be, you know, in posing, you have a lot of forward facing seated in this gallery. So in terms of posing, you could utilize, you know, seated on the floor, legs to the back kitty corner, looking over the shoulder backwards at the photographer. That would be one option for variety, or tummy time position or crawling position. These are all different options that you can do for milestone setups that give you a little bit more variety than just sitting facing forward, which is, I think, what we're seeing consistently shown throughout here.
Yes.
Facing forward in a lot of these images. Even just a studio setup of, you know, a crop where you have hand holding or babe standing, holding onto a stable box, you know, something of that sort where you have that furniture crawl type of milestone depicted. Might be something that you can do. So, you know, I like the fact that they're using several different setups throughout here. You have one outdoors, you have with the wood, but they have set it up differently. You could use your lighting in order to create some variety with the wood. So moving the subject forward off of the backdrop and flagging your light, so creating some shadow in that and onto the backdrop could create a darker mood. So you could show a more like a lower key type of an image using the same backdrop. However, maybe that's not in your style, not something you're interested in. Another way in which you could create variety using the same backdrops would be, you know, in that styling as Tracy had mentioned. So perhaps it is a first birthday celebration, but you could use one of the other types of poses, not the same chair. You could remove banners and you could do a balloon banner or a balloon arch in the backdrop. There's several tutorials online that can show you how to easily create those balloon arches. If you have a limited budget and you're not looking to spend too much money, you can go and buy just, you know, 2 to 3 different colors of balloons and create your own balloon arch for a session. So that's another way in which perhaps you can create some variety in that first birthday type milestone setup. I know not everyone is interested in cake smash for various reasons, food waste or mess or, you know, allergies, whatever your concern might be. But I can see that there is an image here where food element has been brought in. So maybe you're not opposed to utilizing food props. So that's another way in which you could celebrate that first birthday milestone. I've seen a member do a really cute setup, and I believe we have a blog that showcases their work on variety in first birthday setups, using donuts and using spaghetti in one. So, different ideas and could incorporate, foods as long as it's done safely. So, just to provide some suggestion. Joanna, how are you feeling about disqualification based on images 6 and 12 and the similarity?
I kind of in alignment with Tracy. So I didn't think about it at first. I was just looking at how well this maker has captured each of these little babies. I was focused on their Photoshop skills, and I think that this maker has an amazing grasp of lighting, as well as getting their little ones like spot on in focus. And their crops have looked really great, and their styling has been great. But when I look back at it now, I'm like, yes, there's really only 3 different styles. So it's either all like what Bianca has said, has all been on this wood backdrop, or it has been on white seamless, and the white seamless or outside. And the white seamless for the birthday is the same white seamless, probably where the family and the siblings are. It's just a difference of shifting that light around. So it looks like the birthday ones, the light is probably more 45, whereas with the family and the sibling, it's the same white seamless, but the light is more direct on, which is giving it a different appearance for that white. I would definitely say if you are a newer photographer and I'm not a fan of people just like getting a bunch of stuff just because they need it or using things that are unnecessary. However, I think that there is, now coming from a person like myself who doesn't believe in doing anything twice, if I can help it. So I'm not the best person to talk to, but definitely finding creative ways of using already what you have and morphing within that. So for instance, if you only have 2 backdrops in outside, if you only have the white backdrop and you only have the brown, and you're just beginning, the way that you can kind of change things around, like I'm a huge fan of using outside elements, that if I'm cutting down my tree in the backyard, I'll bring in some branches and make it a little bit more rustic. Or if you're doing a birthday session, instead of sitting them in the same spot with the same kind of banner on the same seat, one can be a banner, then you move the chair out, you put them on the floor with the 1-year-old, or you have them tummy time with one of the gray rugs that you already have on that white with the banner. So you already have lots of different things that you can utilize, like this little farmhouse bowl. You can use that against the white with the banner. And that can kind of give you a little bit more diversity in your portfolio. For the wood, I mean, you can definitely go to any kind of like party craft store. I see you've used the little trees for the Christmas time. If it's something that's within their color wheel for the gray, you can definitely pull in like, I don't know, what I do, and this is like a tip that I give some of my mentees. If you have newborn backdrops, if you're a newborn photographer / sitter, if you're strictly sitter, then maybe this doesn't apply. But if you're a newborn photographer and you do sitters, all you have to do is your newborn posing fabrics, just clamp that to a backdrop and automatically you have a completely different set. If you have a pattern newborn fabric, automatically you've created like a cool florally set for a little baby girl. You can easily go to Target or to, if you have a garden, I always incorporate elements from my own garden. Bring kind of little floral plants. You can go to the dollar store and just get fake plants, and there you're building more of a set and changing your look to just a simple baby on a backdrop. Now, if that is your personal style, definitely understand simplistic and not wanting to be overly dramatic and maybe your sets, then you just have to find different ways to incorporate different things, do more close-up shots, as you said, do some more belly things, shoot them a little bit more portrait style. So you have some leeway where you can really make this happen. So I encourage you to really explore how you can take 3 simple things that you already have. You have the natural outside, you have your wood drop, and you have your white drop. How can you make those a little bit different from what we've already seen or what you've already done? So I challenge you to kind of take this feedback and really push yourself to see how you can do it at a really reasonable cost of like under $5, $10, how you can make some changes to what you're already doing and already have to expound upon your gallery.
Thank you, Joanna. We will choose one of the images to pass accreditation, and only one image will need to be replaced in this instance. So between the two images, judges, do you have a preference for which image should pass for accreditation? I think they're both equally strong.
Yep, both.
Perhaps we'll just choose the first image submitted, image number 6.
Sure.
All right, so for image number 12, I'll get you to refresh your screens now and you can enter scores of not accepted here. All right, and so that will be recorded. So for this maker, congratulations, 11 images accepted for accreditation today. Only one image to replace, and just considering variety when resubmitting for this milestone accreditation submission. I think you got really great feedback here. And I just wanted to note, I actually think there are 4 looks here, even though the high key image is on white, it's been lit and done differently. So it can significantly be separated from your other image. So I would say that you've presented us with 4 different type of backdrop sort of images. And, you know, I can't say for sure, but perhaps even in one of the images, you have a different looking wood, but still in the same tonality. So, you know, looking very similar to the rest. So good consistency in style, that's a good plus point here. And I do see that you do have a number of different props in use, which is great. I think just you got caught up on the similarity here because banners and chairs and similar pose were used for each of those images. So just considering submitting something a little bit different in the next round of submission, and I think you'll be smooth sailing. Okay, we'll move to maker number 10 at this time. And this is a submission in the category of maternity. So I'll have our judges enter their scores. All right, we have a score of accepted and 2 scores of accepted with merit from Tracy and Joanna. Congratulations to this maker. That denotes a really strong submission in this category of maternity. Let's go to Tracy, please. I'd love to know which of the images you feel were accepted with merit and would place well in image competition.
Absolutely. This is a really strong submission. I absolutely love the bold colors used in all these images. Specifically let me see if I can get these numbers up. Number 3, close up of belly, the red on red, just beautiful, absolutely stunning. It is hard to work with red. It can bounce off onto skin tones, but he has control over the skin not looking like it's reflecting back in any red, and just that light almost coming from like maybe behind. It's that's all I have to say. And I would also even say down in, let me get my numbers here. Number 12. This image is just, it has emotion in it. I love the flow. Her tattoos actually they go with the flow of the dress and everything. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. I love that it's outdoors. I love that it feels natural. I mean, for image competition, I might fix a few of the little wrinkles in the dress, but not too many, because you do know there's movement. But the tone of this, how muted, is that a word? Muted, not muted, mute. You know what I'm saying. It's so soft, but it's also deep. So it's just a gorgeous image. I'm really drawn to this one.
Yeah. One of the things I would suggest for image competition is looking at anything like any distractions. So you'll have, you know, the line that's in the walkway or path that you have here. There's one that is quite muted because it looks like maybe there was some growth there, and then one that is a lot brighter. I might match those. I wouldn't necessarily say you'd need to edit out the line. You could try editing it out and seeing how that works. Or just, you know, trying to bring less focus to the background and more focus to the subject for sure. And then tonality wise for image competition, again, there is just a different coloration that happens just, you know, to the side of this hand right here. So a little bit of purple, almost magenta peeking through in the background that could have been, you know, the tops of some wheat-like plants or perhaps some flowers in the background. I'm not sure. And when they blurred, they maybe look a little bit in that pinkish, magenta-ish, purplish tone-ish up here. So perhaps handling a little bit of that just to, you know, make sure that it doesn't look like it's something smudging off from the skin. That's been done in editing. I really don't think it has, but it does draw the eye away from the subject. But I agree with Tracy and everything that she's saying. I think, you know, beautiful handling of this image. Next time I would have cropped just a tiny bit higher to keep those lips in. You've cut off that top of the top lip, but
I agree with that. I almost want to see her face too. I want to see the whole image.
yeah, I wonder if
If-
there's another
yeah.
crop from this same series.
I would even recommend if there was, and if she's looking at down at her shoulder or just off camera, I would submit that 100% because I
Yeah.
think that as a whole image would just be stunning as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're going to crop to include the mouth, I usually like to include just a little bit of the nose as well, just so you're having, you
Mhm.
know, semi-face features there. You're not cutting anything like drastically.
Yeah.
You can kind of get a direction, a better direction or sense of direction of where the gaze might have been by the direction of the nose. So if you include just a little bit of that nose, you know, it can give you a bit more information about, you know, where this gaze was. I feel like it was in a downward gaze, kind of off in front of where her belly would be falling. But yeah, harder to tell when you've cropped the face in this way. So, you know, just some suggestions for image competition. For accreditation, this is beautiful. You know, in image competition, I think you're not, you know, far off, Tracy. I think that this could merit, but if you want to increase the score, those are some definite suggestions for you. So well done, well handled. Yeah, I think this is a strong gallery. Anybody else? Joanna, I noticed that you also accepted with merit. Did you want to speak a little?
Yeah, I like the ones that Tracy picked out, and I think I also picked. I think it was number. Let's go figure out what number it was. It was number 8. I also love that. I thought that was really beautiful. Again, with the cropping right above the lip, but something about that gives it a mystical kind of dreamy look. So I just the color and the skin and everything. I thought this was just very, very pretty. So
Yeah, I love how this maker's handling the greens just as
mhm.
a personal preference type of thing. For image competition, I would work on this one piece right here that seems to be coming towards camera and falling out of focus. So it does draw the eye a little bit away from your subject, also because it's brighter in tonality. Could be difficult to remove it entirely from the image, but perhaps in editing, you could take away some of the brightness that draws the eye, and this white piece up here as well. Oftentimes, you know, something that was suggested to me when submitting for image competition, David Anthony Williams is very, very knowledgeable about this subject, had given some suggestion at a meeting that I attended, and he recommended printing out your picture and hanging it upside down and looking at it every day. So when you turn an image upside down, you remove the familiarity of the subject. So you're no longer looking at it in terms of, you know, the subject that your eye would normally recognize as a person. And so when you do turn it upside down, a lot of those distractions or, you know, the items that are going to pull your eye away from where it's intended are going to pop out at you. So even just something like this little bit of leaf right here, you know, it's floating kind of bright in the middle of muted. So perhaps it's better to not be there. It wouldn't have been as distracting had it been over in this area where there are other elements that are as bright and not competing. But because it's reaching towards the belly, like unless it's a very intentional, leading element that leads the eye into the subject, that's different. But to me, I think it's something that, my eye wants to look here, but then wants to be drawn back to this little piece of bright or up here. I'm questioning, what are these things? What are these elements that are keeping my eye from resting on the subject? And so that's a nice trick that you can use as well when you're entering for image competition. But certainly, I would agree, Joanna, I think it's a very strong image and potentially could merit. Congratulations to this maker. I think really, really well done overall. So overall accepted for maternity, and yeah, should be very proud of yourself. All right, and that brings us to the end of this accreditation panel. I want to thank our judges for being with us. Honestly, we couldn't do this without you. I think you know that. But we are truly thankful for your knowledge and expertise and all of your critique. It can be difficult to give critique because, sometimes you worry that the makers won't take it in the way in which it's intended. And I think I can speak for all of you when I say that you only ever give your critique in ways that are meant to be constructive and to help the makers to push themselves to the next level. I think we saw a really high standard of submission this round. So really happy for our makers. We do have a new mentoring program running with APNPI, and I think a lot of our submissions were from members who had been matched with mentors who were giving them advice and critique ahead of the process. So I'm really, happy to see the end result of that is that we have these strong submissions coming through. When you noticed that submissions were deemed accepted with merit, that would denote that that maker would do well in image competition. So, whether or not there were a few images or many images in that portfolio that would score well in image competition, we did have several of those come through with this round of accreditation as well. So I think that that's a good indicator that, our level of what's being submitted is increasing in proficiency. So it's so nice to see. We also saw a number of resubmissions. And I think what's really interesting from our resubmissions is noticing the growth and seeing how much effort people are putting in. And that kind of always is such a nice result for us to see as well as judges and as the chair, because it means they've taken critique that was given and gone back home and played with that and applied it. I know Tracy, you did submit this round. How was that process for you?
It was awesome. I really enjoyed being a part of the judging, but also watching how everything gets critiqued and the feedback that you can get from an image. And also you stare at your own images over and over and over again. I think it's so important to be a part of those feedback Fridays when you can submit your images for feedback, because there are things that I know that with my own images, I saw and I thought, why is that there? Why didn't I take that out? Why didn't I adjust that? So I think it is important to always take advantage of these moments where you can get great feedback from people looking at your image, because they're going to see things that you didn't see because you're staring at it all the time. You're going to miss stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I always say, especially with image competition, is that as a maker, you have a different view of your image innately because you were part of that process of the creation of the image. So you remember the place that you were standing, you remember the temperature, you remember the lighting, you remember the banter that happened between subject and perhaps whoever else was in the image, or, banter in their family or banter in the maker. And you had a general sense and experience wrapped up around that image that can skew how you view the images as well. So, for image competition, I remember being advised never to submit something that you've taken of your own child, because you'll never see it objectively because they're your own children, right? So it's difficult to look at the image and to pick things, because what you see is the emotion and you see their character and you see, you know, something that you love about them in that image. And it's hard to separate yourself sometimes as a maker. So it's really interesting and brave for our applicants to submit these images and to open them up to other people's eyes and allow for that critique to happen in a public way in this forum, where you're getting critique that is constructive, but also can sometimes point out some of the ways in which you can improve, right? And that can hurt. So especially when you submit and you think you're a shoo-in for sure. This happened to me. I had this experience myself with another organization submitting for, of all things, newborn posed. I had submitted to 3 other categories and accreditation granted first time in. And I thought, you know, we fought for this category of newborn posed, and, you know, thinking myself, oh, look, I teach in this area and this should be, I'll be a shoo-in. I submitted. The organization was not as familiar with newborn work. And one of the poses that I thought I had done masterfully, they said looked uncomfortable for the newborn. And only after 2 years, I think, of taking myself out of that experience and going back in and looking at it, do I now look and say, yeah, no, that's unnatural. Like, I can see why, you know, if you're not exposed to newborn posing all of the time, I can see why that pose in particular looked a little less comfortable for that newborn and was, you know, judged in a different way than the rest of the portfolio. So I was hurt going through the process and didn't expect the outcome, but it allowed me to view things differently from somebody else's viewpoint. And we have to remember that the people that consume our images as well, they're not photographers, right? They're what we would term as lay people. Whenever you're not a professional in an area, you are a lay person. And so it's important for us to be able to see things from different viewpoints and to try to experience our images the way that the consumer or somebody else is viewing them, and can be so hard to do if you never submit for critique and you never put yourself into these scenarios. So it's really brave, but I think it's also really valuable. So thanks to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. All 3 of you have submitted to image competition before. You've all placed in our image competition before and done very, you know, significantly well. And I hope you'll rejoin us again. We do have another image competition opening up sometime soon. And perhaps some of the feedback that you've given to our makers on those images that you think that they could improve slightly, you know, perhaps that'll give them the confidence to go away and rework some of those images and submit them, or create new images and submit those. So I really look forward to our next round of judging for image competition. And I think, you know, how lucky are our makers to have all of your input and all of your critiques. So thank you so much for being with us today, and best of luck to everyone who submitted. We hope if you didn't make it this round that you will be back again. Be brave, come and revisit us. And for those who did pass their accreditations, a big congratulations on their achievement. All right, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.